Look at all these pretty faces.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing?
Great.
Good. That's what I like to hear. I'm gonna let in some of these other, I'm not letting in these pictures. Ah, well, I had a whirlwind couple of days.
Yeah, you like made an appearance in Atlanta but didn't tell anybody. And then
But don't
it's
tell
okay, you were at a
anybody.
concert. You were at a concert. I get it.
We were driving home, so we drove up Tuesday, 6 hours. Got up to our friend's house, drove over to Roswell to have to the wing stop or the wing shop or the wing something. Ran into Crash Clark. So that was hilarious because does anybody know who I'm talking about? He's on 99X. Well, back and this is why it's so funny. Back in like 2000, I don't know, it had to have been like two or three. Um, Crash Clark and this girl, Nicole, who was a bartender at Diggers in Lawrenceville, where we used to hang out. We all went down to a Florida State game, and Crash was hilarious. Like, I mean, I've never laughed harder. So it was always just kind of this fun thing. So we're sitting in the wing place, and my friend Mike Marlowe goes, "That's Crash Clark over there." I'm like, "No way." And then I heard him talking, and I'm like, "Oh, that's him." So anyway, I was like, "Well, I want to go up to him and see if he remembers us going to the game." And Mike's like, "No, no, you're not." And uh, and then Marlo, my friend, his name is Mike too, so we call him by his last name because my husband's Mike. So Marlo's like, "I don't know," and then my friend Tiffany's like, "Go ahead, who cares?" Like, go ahead. So anyway, I went over and he did remember. Actually, he remembered that trip from that long ago. It was so funny. He had just gotten back from getting married, and he was also going to the same concert that we were attending. So anyway, it was funny. I got a picture with him, and then it had been raining all day. We get over there, we missed the opening act because it was pouring, and we're like, "Well, we came all the way up here, we spent all this money, and then it stopped raining." So we got to see the concert. It was great. Went back to their house, spent the night, got up and drove back home. So we're driving back home yesterday and it felt like 4 days. And I said, "What do we think we're in our 20s or something that we can pull this off?" So that was my whirlwind little week of an adventure, but it was fun. Chastain
That's a
was great. I haven't been there in
that's a
forever.
quick turnaround trip. I can't do those very much anymore.
I think that was our last one for a while. So, welcome everyone. We are doing a deeper dive on AI. We have kind of been doing this series. We do have all the recordings. I need to get with Rachel, see where we're putting those. I think she was adding them to our YouTube channel. So, we need to get out the info of where all these are so that you can go back. We started in December. Honestly, that was when I first started using AI. So, I felt like I was kind of late to the game. So everybody's input in these classes is really what helps all of us. So I have some ideas today that I want to share. I would also love to get feedback on how you're using it. Every little thing that you're doing can help someone else. So we're trying to make these classes as collaborative as we can, which means I'd like to open it up in the morning for some fresh ideas of how you've been utilizing it. It doesn't have to be work if you found one program better than another. I'm going to talk about my transition over to Claude from ChatGPT. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I would love to get some insight, and it's just kind of fun to just call on folks. And if you don't have anything to share, that's fine. You can just say, "I don't really have much." Or if you have a little nugget of something that you've tried or you've heard of other people, or if you have a question, or if you have something that you would like us to do in the future. So really use the floor for any way that you like. I'm ready to take notes if there's anything that I can provide for follow-up or for future classes. So today's going to be a little different. You might not have expected this, but that's okay. Life throws us all kinds of little curves. So the way we're going to do this morning, the way we're going to open it up for the first, I don't know, however long it takes, because I want everybody to have a little chance to talk, is I'm going to go ahead and call on somebody randomly. And when I call on you, it's you have the floor. to share, to ask a question, however you want to utilize your time on the floor. Try to keep it to like 2 minutes or so, minute, 2 minute, and then you get to toss it to the next person. So that way we can get through the room. Everybody can have some input today. It's going to be fun. It'll be a little different than normal. I hope you're not thinking, oh, I'm going to hit the edge button. Please don't leave. This is kind of a fun time for us all to share. And even if you want to introduce yourself, we don't all know each other. We have added people, we've added offices. A lot of great stuff has been going on, so it's been fun. So let's kind of use this as a big, good group this morning. I think it'll be fun to hear from everybody. So I'm just going to call on the folks that I know were already here because we had some folks that I just let in. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up and I'm going to toss it over to my favorite. I know I always say this, but my favorite smile in the office. And that is going to be Adam. So, Adam, can you share a little nugget and then you'll be able to toss it?
Well, great. Good morning, everybody. I had a interesting experience a couple of months ago. So, my father, I don't mean to put a damper on the meeting this morning, but my father recently lost his wife of 30 years. So,
I'm
he
sorry.
had a bunch of stuff to settle as far as estate planning for himself. So he was kind of in panic mode. Oh my gosh, I'm all alone now. Adam, you need to help me with power of attorney for his medical decisions if something happens to him, because he's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
And more importantly, now he wanted to add my brother and I to the deed of his home in case, just
Hmm.
again, getting things started. So I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, where do I even start? So hello, ChatGPT.
Mm.
And I think my story to share with everybody is I saved so much money. I thought I was going to have to pay a lawyer to do all this. And ChatGPT walked me through step by step. And he lives in Phoenix. And it turns out the state of Arizona is super friendly when it comes to estate planning for seniors. And I had no idea. So it laid out everything step by step and what I needed to do. So, yeah, I was really, really, and I just kept asking questions. And every day while I was there a whole week doing all this, I kept running into these roadblocks and would just get back out of ChatGPT and it told me exactly what I needed to do. So it was a lifesaver.
That's a really great point. And I'm sorry for your dad's loss. It's very overwhelming going through that. And I think that should give everybody a little bit of pause in your business planning, just in general, that we talk about the reasons people move, and we always kind of run through those: divorce, death, birth, empty nester. We kind of talk about how those life changes really bring a lot of decision making for folks. And I think we can be such a great resource to help people through such a time like that. And especially when you just went through it yourself, how it's just overwhelming. People are going through an overwhelming thing, and we're part of people's life decisions. We're part of people's life challenges and things that they do. So that's a really great thing for you to talk about. I also think it gives us an opportunity to be a resource for people and to not, forget about not just condolences and bringing food and things like that, but maybe in, 3 to 6 months or whatever, just reminding people and putting guides together like that for the life changes. That used to be quite an undertaking, where I think you just proved a point. Wow, I went to ChatGPT and look how much money and time it saved me. And that's information that all of us are going to go through at one point. So we can't, shy away from that reality. So while it's sad, thank you for sharing that. I do think that's a huge opportunity for us, to add another layer of resource and care for our clients. So thank you for sharing that. And ChatGPT. So you're using ChatGPT a lot. That seems to be your go-to.
Oh my
Is
God, I
that
use
your
it every day for
go-to?
something. Yeah.
So every day for something. So that's a great example. Okay, great. Thanks, Adam, for sharing that. Can you go ahead and toss it on to somebody that you see on your screen?
Sure. Hey, Chloe Johnson. Good morning. Your turn.
All right,
Good
Chloe.
morning, and I knew you were coming, so I was already ready. I knew as soon as she said Adam, I was going next. Good morning, y'all. I use ChatGPT, but I'm kind of in the market for a new one, so I'm interested in what Holly has to say about Claude later.
Okay.
Because while I like ChatGPT, it's getting a bit like it's like Googling something.
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. So I want a little bit more of a personal touch so I don't have to go back and do as much editing. But AI helps. We send out all of these mass emails, mass things, and I use AI to kind of help me come up with more ideas of things to email people about. So I'm not sending them the same old emails all the time.
Great. So
And I
you're
also
getting it
use
for, go ahead.
and I also use it because I am not the best person with time management.
Mm-hmm.
So I will input my schedule into Chat GPT and be like, hey, I need to get all of these things done this week. Here's what my time looks like. Help your girl out. And a lot of the times it will spit me out a pretty much like time blocked thing. And I need that. That helps me out a lot.
I love that. So newsletter content. So as you're listening, just try not to share the same thing so that we can all kind of get a new little nugget from each other. So that was ideas about newsletter content, which I love. And I think a lot of folks are already thinking about their email content, social media content. I think we kind of have that covered. But I love the idea of putting in all the things that you want to accomplish this week and then asking it to time block it out or to schedule it out. So I hadn't really thought about doing that. So I love that little nugget that you shared, Chloe. That's fantastic. And yes, I'll be talking about Claude. So if anybody else is already utilizing Claude, feel free when you get when it's tossed to you to go ahead and add some input as well about Claude. So thank you, Chloe. Go ahead and toss it on to somebody that you've seen. Adam and yourself have already gone, so everybody else is free game. You're going to be getting tossed to folks and just asked to contribute or ask a question or whatever nugget you want to share today.
It's okay. He already knows I'm coming. Seth, it's on you.
Oh, Seth. All right. Hey, Seth.
Hello, and I did. Um, good morning.
There's a group text
There's
happening
a,
behind the scenes, I
yeah.
think is what's
No,
happening.
I could just feel it. No, I'm not a huge user of AI yet.
Okay.
I utilize it for searching things like the Google AI overview. I like being that, like it's not perfect, obviously, but I like that you're able to add in a bunch of different factors into your search, like what does it mean when there's water here, but this is not leaking and this is not leaking, and then it like you
Mm.
can add in like you're just rambling off to somebody with ADD brain like I have. So it's nice that you can just do that and it can give you some ideas that you can further research. But that's about the extent of my use of AI, other than maybe like creative purposes of looking for video ideas and things like that. But I don't have any other application or AI specific application other than Google, which just recently announced that they're an AI company and not a search engine company now.
Well, isn't
Uh,
that interesting? They're trying not to become obsolete, I would think, huh?
I think so.
All right, good. Well, maybe today will give you some additional nuggets that you can start to dive deeper. I do feel like it's becoming like just a normal thing. I mean, people are kind of moving to there because you can talk to it a little bit differently than you can in Google or what we're used to. We're getting answers instead of just searching for results. So it is a very interesting transition, and the time of things are moving so quickly. So, all right, great. Thanks, Seth. Who would you like to go ahead and toss it to?
I'm going to take it out of the Zach team now and call on someone new, Charla.
All right, Charla. Yay. Hey, Charla.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Good morning, everybody. So as like Seth, I'm not using it a lot, but mostly for content, for listings and email content. So and email content, and I've had to write some legal letters recently, and I've used it for that just to make them sound more professional. So yeah.
Oh, good. So kind of cleaning up your communications and then
Yes.
finding ideas. So legal. Okay, interesting. So that's good. So we've kind of gotten two little legal aspects, one from Adam and then from you. Any questions or have you been using chat? Have you explored other platforms at this point?
I kind of played around with Gemini the other day, but that's the only other one I have. So I really haven't, those are the only two I've really researched. So I haven't used the one that you were going to go over today, the Claude.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I'll be interested to hear more about that.
Okay, great. All right, who would you like to toss it to?
Oh, let's see. Victoria.
All right, Victoria.
Okay. I use chat. We talk daily. We've become really good friends. If I don't talk to chat, I feel like I've missed out on a conversation that I could have learned something great today. Um, I use it for email responses. A lot of times I'll get emails from people and I'm like, how should I respond to this? What is, I want to be
Mhm.
professional. So I'll just copy and paste and throw it into chat and say, give me a great response to this. And chat will write me up something. And if I don't like it, I'll say change it, make it a little bit more friendly, or
Okay,
I'll throw some dates in there to help it give me options for showing times and things. Or I use it for responding to I also use it for legal purposes, writing stipulations. I've used it to upload my inspection reports to help me do
okay,
amendments. I've used it
nice.
on the inspection reports to help me give quotes and get me contractors. Um, Chat just has so many options to when you're stuck on something and you don't know what to do. It's really my first go-to. And then from there, I move it on to broker support. Is this going to be okay? Can I use this? And or
Nice.
move on to actually calling the contractors and saying, "Hey, I need a quote." And it'll give you names of people too, which is great, so that you can reach out to contacts and get them out there to do more research further for your clients. So,
Okay,
yeah.
excellent. I also think that BossCat does some of that, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't had to use BossCat, but I do know that that is also a tile through Remax.net where you can upload your inspection to that. So if anybody is using BossCat, I know that that's also a free service that will analyze inspection reports. Some inspectors might give access to it. So if anybody does have something to add about BossCat, feel free. I just know that it's a tool with inspections. So when you mentioned inspections, I thought it's worth saying that
Yeah.
there's also another opportunity. Have you ever used BossCat yourself or no?
I have not. I have not. And I've used chat also to help me with my outreach with clients to give me more content to send out, automated text messages that will get me better responses and set me up with some drips and emails and things like that. And yeah, it
Perfect.
does
I
great.
love it. All right. Lots of good nuggets there. Thanks, Victoria. Can you go ahead and toss it to someone?
Um, let's see. Lori Hamilton.
All right,
Okay.
Lori, good
I didn't
morning.
know if I was going to get called on or not. Cool.
You're getting called
Um,
on.
yeah. So, I'm sitting here thinking and listening to everybody, and gosh, I think I use a lot of the same for the same things. But here's what I've kind of recently discovered. Because I'm also part of the 12-week year, and we had a little bit of this conversation a week or two ago. And, what I've realized I think with some of these tools is you use different ones for different things. For a while I was just exclusively using chat for everything, right? I was like, I want to get used to this. I want to get used to how to use this tool. I'm just staying in this platform, and I did. And now it's like I'm branching out. So Gemini
Okay.
has not let me down on creating graphics and creating documents that are pretty, so to speak,
Ah,
because chat is just sometimes. Maybe they're getting better, but I've had them create some documents before, and I'm like, it's mid. But I
mhm.
like Gemini. Gemini is better on that. I was told that Claude was really good with things that are very workflowish, very systematized, very operational kind of things. And I'm like, okay, well, that would be helpful in some of the things that I do. And here's here's how my relationship with Claude right now. I went in, I was like, let me just try the free version, just want to see it. And they said, you have about up to 5 hours of free type of going in there and playing around with it till it resets. And I asked it to create a document in a graphic, and it didn't even do it. It was like, you've reached your limit. So I got frustrated with Claude and disappointed. So I'm definitely ready to hear more about Claude on that
Right.
end.
Mm-hmm.
But noticing and understanding that these different tools are different, that I think some are better than others at certain things.
Perfect.
So
So
that
maybe
was my
not,
big
okay,
takeaway.
so maybe not one size fits all. Like one thing, one tool
Exactly.
isn't going to do everything. So
Yeah.
and I would like to just kind of throw out as a recommendation, you can of course do what you want, but like right now I pay for the Chat GPT version. I pay
I
$20
do
a
too.
month.
I do too.
So I don't want to just go all in with everything. So I think going in and playing around and exploring first before you decide to get either stuck in something or sign up for something and then you forget that you're paying it. We don't want to do that either. I think it is important to really figure out what it is you're trying to accomplish and which one is helping you the most. And then you can kind of decide if you want to invest in it because you can go down rabbit holes with all of these and they're all like, oh,
Hmm.
it's the 1999 syndrome again. 1999 a month, 9.99 a month will change your life. And then you sign up for something and end up not using it, but yeah, you're paying for it. So I like
Yeah.
that. Gemini was more good. It was good for illustrations. Perfect. All right, so
Yep.
go ahead and toss it to someone, Lori. Thank you for that.
Okay. I'm gonna toss it to Lisa Harris.
All
Hey,
right,
Lisa.
Lisa.
I knew Lori was going to do that to me.
Girl, if I
And
see you on a call, I'm gonna call on you.
and Lisa helped me on my drive home yesterday because we had a fantastic call. And I got off and I was like, wow, that was so awesome. And now like I'm an hour closer to home too. So appreciate the conversation yesterday, Lisa. It was very good. I'm glad to see you this morning.
Yeah, it was great catching up. So, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but I use chat a lot in my marketing. And so just last night, I was uploading some existing property brochures or flyers that I've been using for years. Um, and uploaded them into chat and said, "What do you think?" And chat said, they look like 2006 or something like that." And I was like, "Whoa!" And so, like, it was interesting. Is a 4-page flyer. So then I broke it down, and I said, okay, let's focus on what actually chat said. Let's focus on what should be on page 1, what should be on page 2, what should be on 3, and then 4, and how to flow it,
Hmm.
and like what are you trying to accomplish, obviously is the goal. But we when we're putting together flyers, we're like, well, the best photo should be the hero float, the big one that's floating, first. And so you'd be surprised if you ask chat for input. And so I made a ton of changes. Like I had a URL, a tiny URL that I made on Mac Center that
Hmm.
I thought was amazing because it was the property address. It was like 909 Pathview, and they're like, no, like you need a QR code. And I was like, no, QR codes are out. And chat was like, no, they're not. They're in. And
Ah.
you literally can have conversations. And if you think chat is wrong, you can say, are you sure? And then sometimes it'll come back and say, yeah, you're right. Or, it kind of like double checks. It's like sometimes it'll spit out an image that says that it's 4 by 5 and it's not, and
Mm.
so it's
Yeah.
not always right, for sure. And then another thing I like to do is, I think I try everything, but I think Meta AI has uh, the best thing now to where that you can take a still photo, and so you can take an image, upload it, and then just click animate,
Oh.
and it's pretty cool. So sometimes it's amazing, sometimes it's kind of like, whoa, I never would have done that. But and then you can also ask it to animate a certain way. So like I have a listing with a pool, so I said, make me fall in the pool or jump in the pool or so, stuff like that.
What?
Yeah. And
Oh my
so
gosh, that is so cool. What?
it's
So that's
it's
Meta AI?
yeah, Meta AI. I mean, I think they all have it now, but
Huh.
the like Meta AI says like I think their animation is 3 or 4 seconds, and then you can click another box that says make it longer.
Okay.
And so another thing you can do is like just save both, like if you do 2 or 3, they're always different. So you could actually save them and then stitch them together, like in
Yeah.
CapCut. And it just makes it's a short, eye-catchy kind of thing that you can use, like as a reel, or put some
Uh-huh.
verbiage on it and use it, a different way.
Now, when
Um,
you do the pool, do you put the picture of the pool and then you grab a picture of yourself, or does Meta know it's you and just adds
Well,
you to?
I had my listing. I had a lot of pictures and videos of me in front of the pool.
Okay.
So it's like just talking or whatever, and then I just pulled the best still image out of a video, and then did a screenshot.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
and
Okay.
but like the first couple, you gotta play with it. Like I think the
Hmm.
first one, it made me. I said fall in, and so it made me fall in. I think with my butt first, but my feet were facing the other way. And so
Uh-huh.
yeah. So the old kind of weird stuff happens still, but if you're more specific in the description of what you're looking for, it helps. But sometimes you just start playing, and then you go
Yeah.
down a rabbit hole, and then you're like, oh, I could use this for something.
Yeah. Well,
So that's
yesterday
good.
when we were talking, you mentioned something I was going to bring up, and I might, since you're on, you can bring it up. But I thought it was a really good point, and you talked about Jared James' statistic about home sellers. Can you go ahead and just talk a little bit about when we talked about that yesterday? How
Yeah,
I thought it was a
after we
really
hung
good
up,
point.
I don't know if it was actually Jared James, but
Mhm.
it wasn't, could have been Buffini. I listened to all these guys, but
Mhm.
one of the big industry coaches said the other day that brought up the fact that sellers are, it was a whole topic of sellers are frustrated, and they're frustrated because they think that they can still put their house on the market for more, and they think they're going to get multiple offers and it's going to sell fast and all that stuff. And so they're taking their frustration to chat, and they're asking why my house is not selling.
Aha.
And he said that, I swear it was Jared, but I'll find the
That's
video
okay.
again, I'm sure. But
It was a great point.
he
So,
said, he said 80% of sellers go to chat and ask chat why my house isn't selling. So his point was, like, as a listing agent, if you haven't uploaded your listing to chat and asked why this isn't selling, you're behind, because your sellers are going to come to you and say, we need to do this, and then you're going to be like, oh, where'd you get this from? And so his whole point was,
mhm.
to be ahead of it.
Mhm.
And the thing is, so the other thing is that I have the AI certification, and we've gone through this and that certification. But the kind of the wonky thing about it is that, like, if you have 20 listings, say you give chat your Zillow link. If you have, say you have 20 listing or 20 photos in there, chat's gonna say, well, you don't have enough photos, so they look
Mhm.
for the anomalies, or like the differences between the other listings. And if you had 150 photos, chat's going to say you have way too many photos, so they look for the obvious. But the thing is just to be ahead of it, and to
Mhm.
know what your sellers are going to ask you.
I think that is such a good point because if you're not utilizing it, there is, and Ken's shaking his head, there's a good chance they are. And if they do use the Zillow link, they don't use the link from your website, or they don't use the link from remax.com. You don't know what link the seller is going to upload. Typically, it's probably going to be Zillow. Well, if
Mhm.
Zillow offers things, and this is kind of what got my attention yesterday after we hung up, is if they upload the Zillow link and you're not utilizing everything that Zillow offers, it's going to probably spit back. I don't know. I haven't tested it yet. I hope somebody does. It might say, well, you could be listed, if your home was positioned better with a showcase, or if you had this, or I don't know if it's going to do that, but I certainly would want to make sure. And that's why I always recommend after you get a listing, you send your seller every link that you've gone and reviewed yourself. So if you're not going to the websites, remember these are third-party syndication websites. Their feeds could be incorrect. So you should be sending them the remax.com link, your website link, then the other property links. And I would have that in a templated email every time I had a listing. And I would drop in the links and say, I've reviewed your listing on the major hubs for accuracy, since these data feeds are out of our control. Like, you need to be setting expectations with them. So
Mhm.
again, it comes down to, how are you staying ahead and what kind of expectations do you set with your seller? Because then there's a better chance they'll grab the remax.com link and put it up there. I don't know, but I would be testing that. So have you tested any of that before, Lisa?
Oh, definitely.
Mhm.
The my listing that I have right now, the wife was checking Zillow 10 times a day, and the husband was checking homes.com,
Mhm.
10 times a day. And one thing I always did was check it in the beginning, and kind of like, you can kind of add, jazz them up a little bit,
Uh-huh.
from each app, from their page. But the one thing I was finding with Zillow was that one day it would pull my MLS listing, and one day it would pull it from FMLS. And
Interesting.
we had a different hero photo in MLS versus FMLS, and she liked
Mm.
one versus the other. And so that kind of turned into a weird thing. But they changed, so you think it's all set and all, and everything can change on it too. So you got to check them. I don't know, I hate to say once a week, but they pull random crap.
Interesting. That's helpful. So again, we need to kind of add, but just build this into your structure of when you have listings. Just build it into your activity, and it's either delegated or you do it, right? I mean, that's how we build out our list. It's what can I delegate and what do I need to do? That's all going to be up on you. So, okay, thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing. Lisa's also going to be part of our marketing masterclass. That's going to be coming up in June. We're going to have a little panel. I'm working on that panel. Lori and I are putting that together. So mark your calendars. I believe the newsletter just went out with that's going to be on the 17th, June 17th, which is a Wednesday at 11 o'clock. It's going to be our marketing masterclass. So definitely put that down on your calendar if you'd like to come and hear some more. Of course, it will be recorded. All right, Lisa, great. Can you go ahead and toss it on to someone? We still have a lot of folks that haven't had a couple of nuggets to share.
So I'm in
Um,
the car and I can't see
oh,
it. Can you go
okay.
take it for me?
Yep, I will. I'm going to
Okay,
go ahead and
thank you.
send it over to Carol Mullins. So, Carol, we're just kind of having everybody give a little nugget of how they're either utilizing AI, or if you have a question or just a comment, it would be great. We're just trying to hear from everybody. Hi. I know it's fun to, there you go.
Did I unmute? Okay.
Yeah, you did. Good
Okay.
morning.
Good morning. Okay. First of all, Lisa, I could listen to you and Lisa talk all day, and there's a thing that you can vote for Lisa for,
Thank
I don't
you.
know.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Influencer of the year.
that's it. And I voted, and I recommend that everybody else, vote for Lisa because it's great for our whole office.
Yeah, she's
And
in two
then,
categories. We'll post the link in Facebook and get that out. Thank you, Carol.
Thank
sure.
you.
And then for Chat GPT, I use it a lot, but I just say I use it for research, verify what they're saying because it does make mistakes.
Very
And
good.
it'll say, "Oh, you pointed this out." And the other thing is, recently I added you play devil's advocate. when
Mm.
I'm suggesting something. And so it comes back and says, this is a great idea. But as a devil's advocate, blah, blah, blah. And I
Mm.
appreciate that.
Interesting.
Another thing is to Adam that in Georgia, I know your father was not there, but that transfer on death deed is something that's new to Georgians.
Oh,
So that's a great thing to investigate and then maybe uh, bring forward information to your people that's because I'm looking into it myself. It's a much easier way to transfer stuff when you need to,
what a
when you get
great
hit by that
point.
bus.
Yeah,
Okay.
what a great point, Carol. That would be a wonderful blog post or a
Yeah.
reel or things like that. Education.
Hmm.
Everybody needs to be thinking about education in your content. And I didn't know that either. So that's a really good point.
Yep.
Excellent.
And you could ask Luter Larkin,
Uh-huh.
Joel or something for more information about it because when it was first brought out, there were loopholes in it. And so I think that those have been tightened. And so it's a resource now.
Right. Yeah. Tap into our center professional title, Luter Larkin, Southeast. We have these partnerships here for
Yeah.
you. And don't forget that at the sales meeting, they announced a wonderful incentive closing with any of our partners. I think Southeast and or Luter Larkin, $250 credit on your office bill, folks. So, we
Nice.
try to put the best of the best, right at your fingertips. And that's a great reminder, Carol. Excellent points. Any other nuggets you want to share?
Well, I spend the $20 a month for ChatGPT, and I will
Okay.
say that my contractor buddy said that ChatGPT is for people that have no friends.
Hey.
That's what he told me. So I was like, okay, I'll raise my hand. But I pay that $20 a month, and
Okay,
I want to do the same thing and I feel like it's worth it.
good.
For all the different things I use with researching schools and other things besides, real estate.
Right.
Um, so, but I don't know about Claude. And so, but I keep hearing it over and over,
Yeah, I'll
Claude
be
and
talking
Claude
about,
Cowork.
yeah, yes, I'll be talking about, I'm doing an intro on it today, and then the
Okay.
next AI is going to be a deeper dive into Claude because I'm still in the news spots, but I'm going to talk about some things about it today for sure. So
Well,
good.
I'm
All right,
starting to,
thank you.
you know what?
Uh-huh.
I'm
Uh-huh.
starting to feel like it's like you have Netflix and you have Prime and you have something else, and you're
Yeah,
paying each of these subscriptions. That's what this thing is starting to feel like.
I know it really is. That's why I say make sure you really investigate if you're going to really utilize something before you go all in.
Right.
All
Oh,
right, who you want to toss it to? We still have a couple of folks to get through.
I can't see, so you pick.
Oh, okay. All right, Aaron, how you doing?
Good morning. Good morning,
Good morning.
everyone. So I typically use ChatGPT. I mostly use it for emails and follow-up, re-engaging with customers. And I definitely have ChatGPT use three different versions. And
Oh,
so it'll come out with like a professional one, it'll come out with a more polished one, and it'll come out with one that's kind of straight to the point. And
okay.
so I get to choose and then I'll switch it up. If I feel like it doesn't sound like a human, I'll
Mm-hmm.
tell it to make it respond in a more human or more relatable tone of voice. And so, and I also use it for my social media. A lot of times, if I'm having trouble coming up with like a really catchy caption to get people more engaged,
Uh-huh.
or I always ask it to use a CTA, a call to action. And
Nice.
so, but since upon joining the Zach team, I think that one of the number one phrases that he uses is, "Who do you know that needs my help?" So I think that helps a
Oh,
lot.
I like that. Yeah, perfect. You could put that in and then build a whole thing around just even that tagline concept. So
Hmm.
love it. All right, thank you. Okay, you want to toss it on?
You're welcome. Yes, let's
Yep.
hear from Ken.
All right, Ken.
Okay, hi everybody. Let's see. My I guess tip would be to go on YouTube and search up how some of the experts are using ChatGPT and Claude and watch
Oh,
some of their videos because there's some amazing tips, some like incredible things that you can learn, like how to write some of these prompts and how to create some of these uh, project prompts for you to use. Mm, So that would be my tip.
that's a great one. YouTube is such a great resource, and all those videos that are out there. It's kind of hard to sift through, but what a fantastic uh, idea to go and for additional learning. There's so many experts out there. There's a lot of classes that are out there. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those as well. So, excellent point. Utilize YouTube too, not just chat. Then you can go and watch. It's a lot easier to kind of watch somebody go through something. So, thank you for that. Awesome. All right, can you go ahead and pass it on? I'll let you know if they've gone if you call on them.
Uh,
Cindy's open, Zach's open, Robin's
well,
open.
let's go to Zach.
All right, Zach, how you doing?
Great, thanks. I use ChatGPT all day long. I've already used it 3 times today. I am down in the Fort Lauderdale area, and I purchased our South Florida real estate office this week, and so
Oh,
now I'm looking for contractors, and that's just been great because I found one contractor. And then it refers other contractors to me and just all kinds of questions to ask the contractors and
wow.
what you have to ask the HOA. And then this morning I got a lead for a $2 million showing. It was
Woo.
around 7 a.m. So I asked ChatGPT who on my team was already up and dressed. So I knew who to give the lead to. That worked well. And Um, uh, in reference to the property I purchased, I asked for a CMA and a full history, sort of like a title search on this unit.
Huh.
And found out that I purchased it for $40,000 less than the person bought it for a year ago. And
Wow.
that gave me questions to ask the agent, why is it $40,000 less?
Mhm.
And my emails tend to be too direct when I send emails, which sometimes offends people. And so I run all my emails through ChatGPT and say, make them as nice as if Robin was writing them.
I love it.
And and then I had an MRI of my knee on a Friday afternoon, and then when the results got posted to my chart at Piedmont, it was already 6:30. Well, I didn't have an appointment with the doctor for 3 more days. So I put that in ChatGPT, which then told
Oh
me
my goodness.
it said, don't worry, you don't need surgery. You just need some physical therapy. And so,
Wow. All
so I've
right,
used,
boy, those are some nuggets right there.
I know someone that put their whole medical history in ChatGPT.
Hmm.
Um, and the older one gets, the more doctors one has. And so he will ask it, what kind of questions? I'm going to this doctor. What kind of questions should I ask this doctor when I go to the doctor? I have a friend who is selling a house in Jasper, and he's been tough. I'm glad he's not my client. But he's always calling and he's always telling me, how real estate agents aren't doing anything and yada, yada, yada. He said, I found this AI tool for sellers who won't need realtors anymore. And
Wow.
went on and on. And he listed his house 2 days before the first bomb dropped in Iran. I said the world has changed. What these 6 agents, and he interviewed 6 agents. I did refer him 2 of them, but um, these prices that they gave you prior to the bombs dropping, the world has changed, and they were very optimistic back then. And so I said, go back to go back to this AI site you found and ask that site why your house hasn't sold yet. What is your agent not doing? And I'd already recommended that he start dropping his price 3% every 21 days until it sells. That site told him that at the price he has it listed for, it will not sell for 5 years based on
Oh my gosh.
based on the inventory in the area, what prices are selling for, what prices are listed for. And that afternoon, he did his first 3% reduction because he doesn't want to pay it for 5 years.
Interesting.
Yeah. I wrote a couple of blogs that I thought were absolutely great that we posted. However, I then found out that the crawlers know that it's chat GPT generated and it goes against your SEO. So I quit writing blog chat
Well,
GPT.
interesting. Okay, interesting. Thank you for that nugget. So that's
Yeah,
something to be careful of,
right. And I
for
also
sure.
got chat GPT to do a CMA for me on this property I have under contract, which was great because I didn't really ask it to do the CMA. I asked it to create the chart because I already collected all the data. Well, it had the data too. So there's just so much. And um, I think that's probably, but I just use it all day long for every single thing.
All right. Well, thank
Okay.
you. Lots of nuggets to unpack in there. Thank you for that. All right,
And
let's do two.
and
Go
one
ahead.
one more, and
Yep.
all my friends are glad that I'm not calling them to ask them these questions.
All right, let's do two more. So we have a big group here. So let's get through two more, and then I'll kind of wrap us up with some chat and some Claude, and then some additional things I wanted to share today. So we got a couple more. Go ahead and pick. Go ahead and toss it, Zach.
Let's see. Let's give it to Robin.
All right, Robin.
There we go. Zach, somehow I knew that was coming. Congratulations on your purchase in Florida. It's very exciting. I one thing, Aaron's, I mean, I use it, which I think everybody does, as far as writing listings, assistance in writing listing descriptions, and then of course making sure that it gets. You have to check, of course, what is in there, but coming off of what Aaron said, it makes it easier to, if you know who your target market is, you can ask for the language to be more toward that target market. So if it's a condo in Midtown and you're looking at young professional probably, or college students or whatever might be purchasing it, you can ask for language that will appeal to that type of buyer. So that's helpful as well. I honestly use it. I use it a lot, just every day asking about home repairs or whatever. I use it a lot for trip planning because you can say you're going to here, help me break up the drive into X number of hours per day. What are things I want to see? And of course, it'll ask you, what are your interests? Is it outdoor activities? Is it museum? Is it art? Whatever it is, you can get
Love it.
recommendations for hotels. I mean, it is, yeah. And then if you change your mind, it's like, oh, wait, I want to add a stop here. What's the best way to route that? And what's the best way to fit these things in? So I use it a lot for that.
Love it. So for trip,
yeah.
yep, personal trip. I think I really like what you said. The target buyer, a lot of the stuff I think, is going to show up in your appointments if you use it before you go on an appointment. So if we didn't get to everybody, I know we didn't get to everybody. So sorry if you didn't get a chance to chat. Come back to the next one and we'll make sure that we get to hear from you. I wanted to kind of talk a little bit and expand on that point right there. I think when you're going on an appointment, it's important to do the research of who you're going to be seeing. They're probably doing that for you. So if you don't, and you don't know the level of interaction with artificial intelligence of your client necessarily before you go. So I think it's important for you to do some initial research on them and see what you can find out about that particular person. Where do they work? So I think the pre-questions, the pre-listing questions that we used to ask of the past probably need to be expanded upon so that you can actually be better prepared. And that's going to show up in your conversation, your dialogue, how you're interacting with that person. I don't think we should try to take things for granted. And sometimes if people are interviewing, you may only have that first shot. You might not be able to find out information about them at the appointment, then go back and do research. You might not have that opportunity depending on who that person is. So remember, I think it's more important now than ever to think about you have what was the old saying? You have 2 minutes to make a first impression, right? Or 2 seconds or whatever it is. I think we need to really dial into that fact. I'm going to give you a case in point. I'm having a conversation with a group on Friday about assisting in some Bold Trail initiative. And I was like, I want to be prepared. Like, who am I meeting? This person is bringing in, a VP of training and a VP of something else. So I had loaded the people's names and I knew the company that they were associated with. I cannot tell you how I'm so grateful that I decided to do that because it gave me not only like their position and their role, but ChatGPT's take on how I should be communicating with that individual and what they probably are going to expect based off of what they were able to go out on the internet and find. They found history of where these people worked prior, the positions that they were in. And I'm telling you, it has been so helpful in my preparation that I think it would be really important for you guys to start putting in the names of the people. You already have their address. There are so many tools. And if you don't know what tools, ask ChatGPT. I'm meeting with Joe and Sue Smith. They live at this property. Go in and look at the tax record. What history do you know about them? So the more you can find out about people before you get there, the better prepared you are to make sure that you're communicating in a way that's going to knock it out of the park. And that's what it's about. People are hiring you based off of how you come across, your tone, your level of competence, your level of confidence, what you're presenting to them, how you're going to be marketing their home. I also think that finding the target buyer, which is what Robin was talking about, is super, super important because you need to be marketing to your clients that you understand who that buyer is going to be and that you want to put your attention toward them. So finding out, and this is one document I love to have sellers fill out that I think you guys should do, is get the 10 things they're going to miss most about their house. The reason they bought that particular home is probably a lot of reasons why other people may be interested. Not necessarily, but if you can get them coming up with 10 things that they're going to miss most about their house, load that into chat. Make sure that's a resource for consumers that come to the home to see why did somebody buy that house. You're going to be able to really find a better avenue of marketing for if you're running ads or if you're just even putting in your marketing. Something else Lisa said, she took an old brochure and loaded it and asked for its opinion on that marketing. So don't just ask chat for stuff and then just think that it's good. Someone else mentioned, I love today, be the devil's advocate. Like, tell me why this wouldn't work or change it or whatever. So I love all the input that you guys did. Now, Claude, I'm finding to be very straightforward in its response. It's not as conversational as chat. And I think the more conversation you have with chat, the more it kind of tells you what you want to hear. So I do think you need to be a little bit careful. That's why I kind of liked that devil's advocate point, because a lot of folks that have moved to Claude have been telling me that they like the fact that it's great for like list and for structure, and you can create AI assistants and actually create an employee that will do tasks for you. And once you tell it how to do it once, you never have to tell it how to do that task again. So there's a little bit of setup on creating these little AI employees, which is what the next AI class will be more about, because I'm still in the learning phases of it. Super interesting. And so I've been able to I asked it for a list, what are the things agents should be using AI for? So I'm just going to share with you what Claude told me this morning on asking for that. I found it to be very effective. Just a quick snapshot of, again, when I asked Chat about this company, Genstone, it'll tell me what they found about her, what her claims are. My read, she's likely the person who would most understand and value your coaching and framework. She appears heavily recruiting oriented. So putting in who I'm meeting with, I thought was super important. But let me share what Claude said agents could or should be utilizing Facebook for. So I mean, AI for. So again, I think we covered a lot of this today, marketing and content. You'll notice it looks very similar to Chat. You go in and say, put in what you want. I'm not using the pay version at this point, but I plan to. I will be investing in Claude. I can already tell you that. Client communication, draft offer letters, counter offers, create buyer and seller presentation scripts, business documents and styles, build service menus, pricing guides, proposal documents, like we did today. He did that. Writing scripts for cold calls, explain bold trail features, help you prep through client conversations, analyze your business. One thing that that started our whole AI journey was actually putting in what our goals were for this year and having it giving us a strategy, a plan. How many contacts, how many conversations do I have to have? It will tell you the metrics, and the metrics don't lie. It's 45 to 50 conversations about real estate will yield you a client. And the client that's yielded from those conversations may not even be the conversations that you directly had that week. So you have to understand your numbers. That's why call to action. Somebody else mentioned CTAs today. I think that was Aaron. So you guys are really hitting all these great nuggets and points. Now you need to sit down, and I think you should be doing a mid-year review of your business. How much business have you done? How many people are in your database? What are your strategies? What are your weekly activities? What is the goal, the income goal that you have for this year? You want to make sure and identify and confirm are you on track for this year or are you off track? Take into account how long it takes to get something to close, which means you probably need to look at your under contracts by November 10th. By November 10th, that's probably going to let you know where your income is. Because if whatever you have under contract after November 10th, if you start looking to put, it's going to be quick cash deals for November and December. Otherwise, you're now looking at the next year, January. So that's why it's so important you don't take your foot off the gas for the whole year, because you don't want to have to take your foot off the gas in the early November because the holidays, nobody's doing anything. You still need to be doing your activities. So you need to get this schedule figured out, but a mid-year review utilizing the tools. And I would go into a couple of different ones to see, is there consistency among the platforms? Right? So we heard about Meta AI today. Claude, we're going to do a much deeper dive just on Claude in our next series. But there's also other ones out there besides Chat. There's Grok, I don't even know. I could probably put in a list right now. What are the top? Let's do it. What are the top 5 AI tools being used by real estate agents? Let's see what it says. Now, I'm not using the free version. Let's see, so it's working. Here are the top 5 AI tools: ChatGPT/Claude, general all-purpose AI assistants, Ylopo, structurally, AI lead nurturing, Sync, AI-powered lead generation and follow-up, Canva Magic Studio, Lofty/follow-up boss, big takeaways. So it's already kind of telling you. Now, if you have not downloaded Streams, if you have an iPhone, Streams is now available It is a Bold Trail product. It actually can interface with other platforms as well. That's going to be rolling out. So lots of information coming about Streams. Streams has an AI version in it, an AI assistant in the tool. It will go into your Bold Trail account and it will tell you who you should be contacting with. You're getting real-time notifications. So I encourage you to download Streams, make sure it connects to all of your contacts in Bold Trail. They're having a big announcement on June 2nd with Buffini. So I believe that the Streams app is going to be integrated into Buffini CRM or vice versa. I'm waiting for the big announcement. It is happening at 1 o'clock on June 2nd. So if there's any Buffini folks in here, you need to dial in, start playing around. You can ask Streams who you should call today. Streams is putting those contacts right in front of you. Make sure it's syncing. Soon to be coming to Android. So Android, hopefully, I heard it's a July rollout. So I have an Android, so I haven't been able to give real-time feedback myself yet. But please get tapped into these tools and resources to make your life better. So Claude is coming, a deeper dive on how to create an AI assistant, like a little employee. That's what we're going to be hitting on our next one. And we did not put one on the calendar for June. So I don't know. I'm going to get with Tina and see if we want to go ahead and add one for June. We have our marketing masterclass on the 17th. So look for an update if we decide to add that. Otherwise, it'll be in July. I just realized that we did not put one on the calendar. So that could be forthcoming. But Claude is going to be our next deeper dive. By then, I will be in a pay mode, so I'll have a lot more to share. But I will say what I've gotten, even graphic wise. Here's a Bold Trail website optimization you'll see. I just put in what should I be offering if I want to optimize Bold Trail websites. It gave me a option 1, foundation website optimization. It gave me an option 2. I liked the visual of this. All I told it was colors. I just said red and purple. And it came up with this. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm also liking the response a little bit better. I think I got a little too comfortable with chat almost, where I felt like I don't know. I kind of felt like it was just telling me what I wanted to hear. So I'm going to play around with the devil's advocate portion, but lots of great nuggets today. I want to thank everybody that shared. I did want to open this up because we do learn more by all sharing, and I got so much. I will be doing a recap that I'll have Rachel kind of put with the video of today's. I took a lot of great notes. And you guys are really, I'm impressed with how you're utilizing it. And I think it's just going to continue to help us be more efficient and spend more time, more quality time with our clients. And that's what it's about. So don't try to distance yourself from your clients. Try to help it give you more reasons to actually be in front of your clients. Be face to face, be voice to voice, be present, and really, really catalog on that. So I love it. Lisa's saying she's AI certified with CREM. So, okay, so she's AI certified. So we can, and she'll be talking at our marketing masterclass as well. So we'll have a segment there on what AI tools are being utilized for that marketing. So that's going to be a fun class. It's going to be a deep dive. Really looking forward to, and thank you for all of your contributions today. Any final thoughts, comments?
I just wanted to add on to what Carol had said. If you're in Chat GPT, you can go to settings and then you can put in a custom instruction. And I put in, you're my ruthless mentor. Don't sugarcoat anything. If my idea is weak, call it trash and tell me why. Your job is to stress test everything until it's bulletproof.
Wow, that is fantastic. Thank
And I
you,
put that in the
Zoe.
chat.
Yes. Thank you for that. That is fantastic. That is a great point. You want to be challenged. Don't forget too, folks, add yourself into it. Go, the copy and pasting, those are being flagged. People are actually taking content and loading it and saying, was this generated by AI? Everything's being tested. More and more people are wanting the truth. They're wanting your voice, your personality. If you go through Facebook, sometimes it's just so obvious, like who wrote it and who didn't. So don't fall into that trap. Take the time. It gives you great ideas, but nothing's better than you. And that I think people now are really starting to starve for, oh my gosh, can I just see something that wasn't created by chat? So just be careful. I think for us to be efficient, it's super important. And being prepared ahead of our voice to voice and face to face encounters is invaluable. But we're here to stay. We're part of the process, and I think people are yearning more and more for it. So let's just remember that too. Okay. Thank you, Zoe. That's fantastic. And anything else, if anybody has other stuff that you want to email me, I would love to kind of start a little, document that we can kind of keep sharing of ideas and something that can be interactive. So when you find something, please just, if you could just shoot me an email, I'd love to catalog that. We learn from each other so much, and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you. And thanks so much for attending today.
Thank you.
Thanks. You guys have a great
Thank you.
day.
Thank you.